Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece episode 820 review. And before we get into the analytical stuff, can we just sit back and appreciate how much of a monster Big Mom is? I mean, absolutely nothing can penetrate her skin when she's conscious, which I guess shows her fat body is a little more than an aesthetic part of her design. And the only time, and the only time she's vulnerable is when a picture's damaged. And we'll get into that picture in a bit. But can we just like sit back and appreciate like how durable Big Mom is? Like just all that, just all around her body is pure, is just pure. Is just purely impenetrable and just invincible. Like nothing can hurt her. It's like damn, like Big Mom has like Big Mom's already proven time and again that she's deserving of the title and one of the four emperors. But damn, like Big Mom is just again, it's just another notch on Big Mom's belt that shows. Yeah, you definitely can't. You definitely can't. You definitely can't. You really can't. You really can't underestimate her. Otherwise, you'd be dead. And this whole assassination plan that Beige has worked out, I let's face facts is One Piece. I'm pretty sure something about it is gonna go south. It always does. It always does, which it always does. Although it always does. So I don't think this plan is gonna go as easily as Beige is hoping it will. Especially, again, we are dealing with Big Mom here, and yeah. Although part of me does kind of actually wonder as to what it is about her skin that makes it so durable. Is it just the fact that she's so fat, or is Big Mom actually coating herself in hockey or something like that? I'm genuinely curious. I want to believe it's hockey, but at the same time, it would be pretty epic if it was just pure. It was just pure mass that's protecting her. Like that would be insane, and it does make sense because we've seen time and again that people have tried to pierce your skin like Brooke, and they've all failed. So yeah, it should be interesting to see if this plan actually works. But yeah, and like I said, let's actually talk about that picture of Mother Caramel that was mentioned in this episode because we learn it's like I said we basically learn that there's a picture each tea every tea party. Big Mom brings out a picture that she holds dearly of someone called Mother Caramel, who apparently Big Mom deeply cared for. And right now, I'm actually very hesitant in order to think about what really happened to her. Because actually, thinking about what happened to her, if I'm correct in what actually happened, it actually kind of scares me. But if it did, because if it did, then oh boy, that's gonna be something else if that actually happened. But in either case, like it seems we're gonna be headed for a backstory soon, which I'm not gonna lie. Part of me is kind of okay if it. Part of me is almost kind of like Big Mom is kind of one of those characters where I'm almost kind of okay if pretty much we don't end up getting her backstory, but at the same time it's Oda and he basically wants to he wants to make sure that we at least feel some kind of sympathy for pretty much all of the main for pretty much every character in One Piece. So yeah, I think we are headed for a backstory, and it'll be interesting to see if we actually feel any sympathy towards Big Mom after we get revealed. Although I do have to pick a fight with basically Oda and Toei on this one. Okay, you've been giving us all these cool backstories so far up to this point, Oda, but where in the actual fuck is basically our backstory on Crocodile? That's actually still the one we desperately want to see. We want to see a backstory on Crocodile, especially since we haven't even figured out the connection between him and Ivankov yet. Like seriously, give us that shit, Oda, soon. I'm begging you. um, but yeah, anyway, now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about the beginning of the episode because the beginning of the episode has a very tense atmosphere just to showcase how serious Capone is, and I like how his first thought about killing the Strats was immediately debunked by Sanji telling him that Sanji himself needs to be alive in order for any plan to work. And it's funny, but playing into the whole year of Sanji that all this material is representing, he's kind of right. He really is right. Like everything that they do, everything that's been done up to this point has pretty much all centered around Sanji, and and pretty much even up to this exact very point, Sanji has remained a key important figure, and yeah, but the only thing that's different this time isn't before Sanji was handling it alone, but this time he actually has the Straw Hats backing him. So it's yeah, like when you think about it, Sanji has played even more of a key role than I think that was basically what his way of saying yeah, Sanji. He's been a major focal point and a key focus of this whole freaking arc when you get down to it. So yeah, it's really kind of incredible. Um, but after we get that, we end up getting a flashback. But after the beginning portions of this, we end up getting a flashback of how Caesar ended up teaming up with Capone. And before I get into the whole major details of what's different and what scenes were added, I just want to say, Caesar, what in the hell are you talking about? Did you just block out knowledge of all the experiments you had done on Punk Hazard, and that one of them was a gigantification experiment slash drug. Like you actually did experiment on gigantification. So what the hell, what the hell, Caesar? Did you just like what was it? Just a fluke? Did you just kind of forget how you even made the drug or the formula to begin with? Like seriously, what the hell? That makes Caesar look like a total inept dumbass and who didn't even know how he created it. I mean, okay, in order to be fair, that whole scene it was an anime only scene, so I guess I shouldn't read too much into it, but still. Also, I had a bit of a mind memo when the Straw Hats with the Straw Hats with the Straw Hats when basically Caesar went up and said and declared himself as Gangster Gastino, like that moment where he declared himself as Gangster Gastino, and I'm like, really, Caesar, really, that was the best cover you could. That was the best cover story you could come up with. Do me, like, yeah, seriously, do me a favor, Caesar. Don't quit your day job, dude, because you're not a freaking. You are no fucking gangster, man. You are a scientist. You are a mad, spastic scientist. Although, I now that I've ripped into him, now that I've got my shots in on Caesar, I'll be fair to the man by let's just take a moment and actually almost kind of in a very strange and scary way just kind of appreciate how the man created chemical weapons in order to take out Big Mom, and that, like, in the most fucked up ways, it's actually kind of impressive. I mean, in a way, I guess it shouldn't be too surprising considering his entire body are made of gases, but it's really kind of incredible that he's able to master that he's able to use his devil fruit power to pretty much such a degree in which he can morph weapons out of his own power. So it's like, yeah, he's Caesar. He definitely impressed me with that. Although I wish he could have done that I wish he could have done the explanation without him going back to being such a spastic lunatic when explaining it. Like, seriously, what the fuck, Caesar? I don't need you acting like a spastic lunatic, dumbass. But yeah, and there are actually several little. Aside from that, there are actually several little bits added to this flashback and the episode as a whole that I enjoyed. The first one I did like is how they added a scene of Caesar actually working on the weapons, and actually working on the weapons that are going to be used in Big Mom's assassination. Like him kind of like us being shown basically the assembly stages of him creating the weapons. Because I remember in the manga, I think they just kind of. I think they appeared with just kind of a passing comment of where they came from, but this kind of gave a little more clarity to that, as to, okay, it was in fact Caesar who pretty much built these weapons. So yeah, a little more clarity to that, which I like. Another scene that I like, but also kind of another scene that I like, but I can understand as to why some might not like it is the scene of Luffy trying to punch Beige but being stopped by Jinbei. I mean, on one okay, I see that that scene is two different things. On one hand, it does kind of ruin Luffy's whole understanding of how serious the situation is, but on the other hand, it is something he would do, so it works both angles. And the last scene I really liked is that continuing with the trend of introducing characters early. We pretty much actually got a brief scene of all the underworld brokers, and actually I was talking about this with this with someone on Anime Amino, and pretty much about what's going to happen after this arc, like if the Straw's bound is going to go up and whatnot, and I would keep an eye on I would keep it I would go ahead and I keep my eye on that guy on basically that bird beat on that guy who's basically a bird. Like honestly, I think he's going to be a very key figure in terms of. I won't spoil who he is, but let's just say I believe he is going to be a very key figure when all of this is said and done. So yeah, but anyway, guys, that's my review. Enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Death Knight of Enemy. Signing off. Later, guys.